Welcome back to Northern Lights. In the last episode we built some super cool farms, but we didn't have enough power to actually make them run properly, so today we're gonna start by solving that problem, and then we're gonna move on to work on another big problem that's been bugging me for a long time now, that ugly storage. We really deserve better than that. So let's start with the power and look at what's already in place. We already have a lava delivery train going around the server. When it arrives at my house, it takes this separate path and stops just at the right place to connect with this pipe that rises out of the water and pulls the lava from the train and down to my tank. And when the delivery is done, the pipe retracts back into the pond and the train goes on its merry way delivering lava to my server mates. So that's what we have at the moment. Now we need to build a steam engine and use it to power all the machines we have down here. But that feels more like a stream project than a video project, so I'm gonna go live, build all of that, and then we're gonna come back and see it all in action. The stream has happened and we built a lot of stuff, but sadly we didn't have time to build everything, so I just finished it off camera, but look at that. The machine is going, well, we don't really see it with the conveyor belts because they're going a bit faster, but not that much. But look at these little cogwheels here, they're the ones activating the fans. They're going super fast now because we have a lot of power. So let's go and take a look at the engine. It's back here. We had this little corner that had no use at all, so that's where we built it. So that's the engine. There's not much to say about it, it's just your typical steam-powered boiler thingy. One little thing to mention though is that it's only running on a single blaze burner because it's powering everything with only one blaze burner, so like why waste more lava than we should? Let's talk about the room now. I used Viridium at the bottom, kind of recreating the same pattern that we have on this side here, but instead of blue it's green, because I thought the green would be a good choice with the orange of the copper. And for the top art, well, it's a bit more boring. Again, same pattern that we use here, the same type of bricks. We just don't have anything to put on the walls yet, so we're also gonna add a roof eventually, but not right away. We're not ready for that yet because there's still some stuff that we need to build. If we go all the way here, so if you remember, or if you're new here, you're gonna learn, we're gonna have a big ravine here, kind of cutting the base in half. And on that side of the ravine, that's where we have all of the farms, and these farms need some lava, so that's why we have this pipe. We're gonna do something better eventually. It's not just gonna be like a single pipe crossing the ravine. That would be quite ugly. But yeah, we got lava here because we have another engine, and this one is running on 9 burners, going super fast because it's powering our farms. So the farms that we built in the last episode are now running at full speed. Look at that, going super fast. Like it's not a big change for this one, but for this farm here, it's a welcome sight seeing it like actually working and not just kind of trying. So yeah, that's one of the major issues that we had that has been solved. So we can move on to the issue of the ugly storage system, and in preparation for that I already cleared the room that we're gonna need for the cool new storage system. I even removed the old storage system. It's actually just right over there, but let's just not look that way. Look here instead at this empty room and all the potential that it contains. The idea basically that I have is, instead of having just one room filled with chests, that wouldn't be that cool, you know. Instead we're gonna have something 4 times cooler than that. We're gonna have 4 rooms filled with chests. They're all gonna be linked like on a little carousel type of thing, and there's gonna be a button that's gonna rotate between the rooms. That's the basic idea. And also it's not just gonna be for storage, it's also gonna be like a different workspaces is kind of the idea I'm going for. So for example, in the room where there's gonna be all the wood stuff, well, we're also gonna get this carpenter's table. It's a thing that we have with chipped that lets us make some cool new textures like that, for example. And in the stone room with all the stone and the bricks and all that, we're gonna get this mason's workbench and like a stone cutter and things like that. So all the rooms are gonna have, yes, storage, but also some cool things to work with and that go with them, so we won't have to go too far to use them. It's kind of the idea that I had for that. So first we're gonna start with the frame of the big carousel, just to show you, just to give you a little idea of how it's gonna work. So as you can see, the mechanical part behind it are very, very simple. It's kind of a simplified version of what we use to split open the house upstairs to get inside the base. So yeah, when we press that button, it just rotates 90 degrees, and well, that's all there is to it. It's working on a mechanical bearing, so this sequence gear shift here, whenever it gets powered, it rotates 90 degrees and then it stops. So yeah, it's just gonna rotate, make a quarter of a turn for this thing. And as you can also notice, there are some more mechanical bearings here. So I would call those like secondary mechanical bearings, because they're part of the part that rotates. And when mechanical bearings are in such a position, instead of well, they will still rotate, but the other way around, as you can see. So it will stabilize the block. The block that it is attached to does not rotate, or the block or anything attached to these secondary mechanical bearings will not rotate. So that's how we get that kind of stabilizing effect. So that's what the rooms themselves are going to be attached to. And that these frames here, they're the dimensions of each room. So and we're gonna have them be a bit wider, like they could be as wide as the room. I don't know if they're gonna be as wide as the room. We'll have to figure it out, because it might be like even too big. I don't want to have like a half empty storage system, but that's something that we'll figure out by building it. So I just thought I'd show you the basic design for these storage rooms. I used chipped to get different textures, but that's just oak planks and stripped dark oak logs. That's all we're using here. I used that because I wanted to make something super basic and plain and simple for the walls and the ceiling and the floor, because that's not really where the attention is gonna go. We want the attention to go more to the storage itself, to the different items that we're gonna have in here, different chests and barrels and all of that. And I also used wood because it felt more logical to have something made out of wood. If it's gonna move like it's supposed to, it makes more sense to make it out of wood rather than stone. It's kind of hard to move rooms made out of stone, I think. And yeah, we got piles of chests in the corners here. We're all gonna adapt all of that to our needs, basically, depending on how much storage we need in each one of these rooms. And here in the middle, we have the chipped tables. We just have a bit of a problem. Look at that. They apparently cannot be moved. So yeah, my plan kind of has to change. But don't worry, I have a solution already. So we can't put them inside the room. And by the way, everything here is glued together. Anything inside should move, but they did not, because they apparently just cannot be moved. So the solution is going to be to have holes in the walls that are going to expose the right table depending on which room we have. So like for this one, that's going to be the wood and plants room. And if we press the button, we're gonna have a hole in this one here where we're gonna have some different tables and different items. So that's kind of the solution to that little problem. So now we can keep on building and well, finish the entire thing. The rooms are done and they are partially decorated, mostly decorated and filled. So this first one, room number 1, is for stone, hence the big pile of stone in the middle of the room. And I have to mention, I did end up changing the walls because they were very bland and I thought I would need more chests, so I thought the walls would be more covered. But it turns out I don't need that much storage, so yeah, walls are a bit too exposed, so we changed them a bit. We might make them even better eventually. I ran out of ideas. I didn't really know what to put on here. So yeah, so room number 1, not much to say about it. It's for stone. room number 2, well, we already talked about it. That's the one where we're gonna get the wood and the plants and all the natural stuff. So yeah, it's the same design for the walls. We had the same issue, not enough chests were necessary, so the walls were way too exposed. So yeah, we picked the same design as for the previous one. Well, all the rooms have the same designs. On the walls, the only thing that changes is these little strips of color in the corners. I picked green here because I thought it would fit in better with the theme of this room. So yeah, other than that, not much to say about this one. Room number 3. This one is a bit weirder because, well, first of all, there's a sheep farm in it. Somehow, sheep can eat grass through seats, and the grass can then grow back on the dirt under the seats still. It's weird, it makes no sense, but it works, so, you know, let's just roll with it. So we have this little sheep farm, because that's the room where we get our wool, as well as glass. So these 2 tables here, that's the one for the wool and carpet and stuff like that. This one's for all the glass items. So I thought, like, they would go well together, because they're... Well, that's also where I put my, what do you call that, dyes. My different dyes. So yeah, that's why I put these 2 together. And also there's the mob drops that I put here. All my mob drops, I didn't know where else to put it, to put them, I should say. So that's room number 3. And room number 4. This one is for, well, all my redstone stuff, all my create stuff, and so basically, well, all the technical things. All of my shinies are here as well. We got the Tinkerer's table and Philosopher's table, I think, so they're the tables that work with the stuff that's in here. And I also have a little brewing stand. And for that, I needed some water. The problem with water is that you cannot glue water sources and then move them. You cannot glue them like into a contraption that's gonna move, which kind of makes sense when you think about it. So I had to put all my water in a tank, and the tank itself, that can be moved. And in order to fill that tank, there's a water source hidden behind the entire storage system. So when that room gets sent to the back, it's gonna connect to the pump and it's gonna fill the tank so that we can get some water to brew some potions. And that's room number 4. And well, that's the entire storage system done. I'm super happy with how it turned out. There's still just one tiny little issue that some of you might have already noticed. The button. That's the button that activates the entire system, so that's the button that rotates the rooms. And it's accessible from inside a room. So what do you think happens if we press the button while we're in a room? Let's find out. The first thing that happens is we hurt our ankles, but also we end up in this super secret room with a special little machine that some of you might recognize. Built that thing earlier on, but we had to move it because it was in the way, so I just built it back here. And that's the machine that's gonna let us unload the big drill that I used to gather all of my resources. So we put the drill here and it's connecting to these interfaces, and it's sending all the blocks that we gathered into the main storage system. Only little problem, you did notice I took some damage, so to avoid that, we're gonna put some seats in the rooms so that it makes, you know, the usage of the elevator a bit more, you know, safe. And also, didn't really mention it, but from downstairs, when you click on this little button, when you press the button, it sends you back up, so it's moving the storage in the opposite direction so that you can get back up instead of having to go through the entire thing. You can just get out instantly. But yeah, let's place those seats. They're all color-coded to each room, so the only one that doesn't make a lot of sense is this one, the blue one. The other colors kind of make sense with the rooms. I picked blue or cyan because of the cyan in the loom machine over there, the shepherd's workbench. That's the only reason I picked that color. I could dye... No, I'm not gonna do that. I prefer having white wool. So on that, we don't have any more projects. We have a cool new storage system, and the base is now fully powered. So yeah, it's gonna be it for today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click on that like button. It would make me very, very happy. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That would also make me super happy. I'm super close to 400 subs. So it'd be cool if I could get there like sometime this week or something. I don't know. That would make me very, very glad. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Have a good day.